I'm just a working mom doing my own dip powder nails. I'm not a trained professional. My hope is to inspire you by sharing my own creations. Enjoy! First things first, I'm using my high-speed Dremel with a coarse grit sanding band to remove the shine from my patriotic pizzazz. This helps to reduce the amount of time I need to soak off the dip. I'm in my sunroom with the windows open and the sun shining, and my tried and true soak-off setup to get this old dip powder off. And after 10 to 15 minutes, I've gotten all the dip powder off. Ready to start anew. Here, I'm getting my nail surface ready for application by pushing back the cuticles. Next, I am using a fine grit sanding block to gently remove the natural nail shine, concentrating mainly on the areas just near the cuticle. Next, I scrubbed my nails clean and dried them. And now I'll use acetone to do a final wipe to remove excess oil and debris. The first step to all of my dip powder projects is build powder. I also have liquid base coat. For the first coat, I apply a skinny strip down the center of the nail, not all the way to the cuticle. Then gently dip that in the powder and tap off the excess. I'm going to complete each nail the same. Then count to 20 and dust off the remaining excess powder. My second coat of build powder, I'm going to apply in a wider strip, but not all the way to the sides and only about half the length of the nail. I use this build powder application technique to add additional strength and shaping to the final manicure. It gives it a nice rounded apex shape. The third coat of build powder I will apply to about 2/3 the length of the nail. This build powder application isn't absolutely necessary, but I do recommend it for the reasons I mentioned. I did want to point out that I'm going to be applying coats closer to the cuticle in successive layers, and this helps to further create shaping, as well as minimize that thickness at the cuticle edge to avoid that thick dip there. Alright guys, I got my supplies for Cherry Sky, starting with white dip powder and liquid base coat. I'll apply this closer to the cuticle than the previous coat, but not all the way yet. While I'm applying my liquid base coat, I am careful not to apply too much to the surface to help avoid pooling at the edges so that there isn't any sagging or bulges with the dipping. This will add a lot of file time later to make corrections. I'm using this dip tray with white and blue dip powder to create a marble pattern to look like a blue sky with white clouds. I'll apply them both and kind of swirl them together. I'll repeat that until I'm happy with the way it looks. There, that's just right. I still have my liquid base coat, and I have my marble design tray, which I've gently tapped to flatten the surface. I'll apply that liquid base coat to the entire nail surface now, all the way to the cuticle. Then press the nail flat onto the surface in order to transfer the pattern, making sure you press deep enough to get the entire nail surface. Repeat that with each nail using a different area of the pattern. I can continue to use the tray, kind of tapping it flat in between each application as long as there's still pattern to use. By the time I get to my thumb, I do need to make a little more adjustment to the pattern. It is important to give the powder enough time to set before brushing it off. I do like to count to at least 20 before doing so. I think this blue sky marble turned out super cute. Now I have clear dip powder and my liquid base coat. I'm going to apply a coat of this over the entire nail. I'm using this coat of clear dip as a layer of protection against the filing and smoothing step that I'll need to do in order to prepare the nail surface for sticker application. It's looking like I'm due for a refill on my clear dip. Next, I have activator. I'm going to apply that to harden the dip powder and let it set for at least 10 minutes before starting to file. I'm doing some shape corrections using this coarse grit file board, especially along the sides. Then I'll do an all-over smoothing with my fine grit sanding block. Then a light buffing to shine it up a bit. And a final wipe with a lint-free cloth to remove any remaining dust. At this point, I could apply a top coat and have a completed pretty blue marble manicure. Instead, I'm going to apply some cherry stickers first. Using my tweezers and pressing tool, I'll go ahead and apply cherry stickers kind of all over each nail, as if it's raining cherries. Those red cherries really pop out against that blue sky. Now, because I want to encapsulate and protect my stickers, I am going to apply 2 coats of the clear dip powder over top. The first coat I'll apply about 3/4 of the length of the nail, not all the way to the cuticle. That is in a continued effort to minimize the dip thickness at the cuticle edge. And my second coat of clear dip I will apply to the entire nail surface. I'll need to apply activator again over top that clear dip powder I just applied in order to harden it, and wait 10 minutes at least to let that fully harden before I start filing. Using a coarse grit file to make corrections to the shape of the nail, especially at the sides and the tip, and all over for appropriate nail shaping. And the fine grit sanding block to smooth things over. And a buffing to bring out the shine. Applying activator one more time before the top coat. This helps fast cure the top coat. You do need to let that set several minutes before proceeding. One last wipe down with a lint-free cloth to remove any excess activator or debris. The first coat of top coat I'll apply in just a few quick strokes to cover the nail surface. I don't want to overwork this layer. I do typically switch out my brush after that first coat of top coat with a new clean brush from a brush saver bottle, because I often get some brush hardening. My second coat of top coat I'll start applying only about 2 minutes later, and I can spend a little more time applying it this time to make sure I get that perfect, pristine cherry shine. And here's my cherry sky nails. Happy and fun summer nails. Thanks for checking out my nail design with me. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment with any questions or feedback.